Hi, this is Steve Palladino. I'm bringing you another video on the SuperPower calculator. This time I am going to do some hypothetical work on the impact of your selection of the Riegel exponent and the running effectiveness in race planning, in doing race power planning to arrive at your race power target. And what I want to do is just demonstrate the relative effect of those two variables, because those are two things that you have to sort of estimate in producing a power plan. So what I do is I come to the SuperPower calculator, and I'm using this out of all the different functions. I am using generate race power scenarios using pairs of Riegel exponents and running effectiveness. This is the workhorse of the SuperPower calculator in terms of race power planning. There's others, but this one I think is the most refined. And as always with the SuperPower calculator, you're going to enter all the yellow data entry boxes, and the results are going to appear in green. This is a hypothetical case. I'm using a 70 kilogram person. Again, with the SuperPower calculator, we have the ability to toggle your data entries in various data entry boxes. So make sure you're selecting the right one. In this example, I'm using a 70 kilogram stride weight individual and a CP or FTP of 300 watts. First, I'm going to demonstrate with a 10K. So normally you're going to enter the target distance, and there's various ways of doing that. And I usually will enter in meters, but you can't actually select a specific race distance, which automatically enters those meters, in this case 10,000 meters. The reason I use meters is that's where I correct for stride distance variation. If someone's stride distance recording is 0.5% too long or 0.5% too short, I usually incorporate that here in what I put in for meters. So, for example, if this is kilometers, this is a person where in prior half marathons their stride is recorded 21.3 kilometers instead of 21.1. So, but back to the hypothetical. Sorry for that little tangent there. What I'm going to do is do a hypothetical with 10K power. And let's go to scenarios. So I've pre-entered. What I've done is I've just picked 3 Riegel exponents that you can see here, and associated a target running effectiveness for each of those 3. In this case, minus 0.07, minus 0.08, minus 0.09. You can see I've repeated here and here, and associated target running effectiveness of 0.93, 0.94, 0.95. So let's look at the effect. So when we vary the Riegel exponent, you can see that it will affect the target power. So for this particular set here, the range is 304 to 305. Again, for 10K, that's not that big. You're going to find that as the duration increases, then the spread of the power, the average power prediction, is going to increase, and we'll demonstrate that. But you can see not that big of a spread. So the take home here is that bracket at least a couple of Riegel exponents. Now we have Riegel exponent suggestions here. So we'll give you your most likely and then less likely but possible. So feel free to bracket those to sort of see what your scenario comes out. But those brackets, at least at the 10K level, is not going to result in that much of a spread. Running effectiveness, your selection of running effectiveness is even less of an impact. So you can see here that let's do this and this and this. So you can see for that particular Riegel exponent, when we bracket 3 different running effectiveness, the spread is still only 1 watt. 304, 304, 305. Or let's say we go to a little bit longer duration because the Riegel exponent's longer, 305, 306, 306. All right? So the effect of the running effectiveness is pretty small. It's smaller than the effect of the Riegel exponent. We're going to see that in the next set of examples. But just remember that effect on power. Now, where running effectiveness has a bigger effect is on the estimated time. So once again, if I come back here to those 3 identical Riegel exponents, and we have variable running effectiveness for each one, you can see the time spread here is about a minute from the lower running effectiveness to the higher running effectiveness. So the estimated power is not going to change a lot by the Riegel, the running effectiveness that you select, but the outcome time. The outcome time is not what you're after. Of course, we all have goal times, but power, sustainable power, is what is the limiter. All right? If you're running a 10K, it doesn't matter what your goal time, your body's only going to be able to produce X amount of power. This is trying to produce what that X, or estimate what that X is, your maximal sustainable power for that 10K. Now, what it will result in will vary. That's why we have that in here. It does modify the power a little bit, but it modifies the outcome in terms of duration more. All right? So let's go back to another example. Let's do a half marathon. And we're going to use the same scenarios. So again, as we change the Riegel exponent, you can see 284 to 287. So instead of a 1 watt spread, we have a 3 watt spread. 284 to 288 in this set here. 284 to 288. That's a 4 watt spread. 284 to 288, a 4 watt spread. So again, when you're estimating power, pick a couple of Riegel exponents based on that chart that we provide, or if you know your history with Riegel exponents, then use those. But bracket a couple, not 3. You try to get down to 2. That way your spread is a little bit less. And then you could bracket several different running effectiveness. You know, in other words, let's say it's a windy day, or the course is a little hillier, you're going to have a lower running effectiveness. Or let's say it's a day where you're more rested and you're just popped. You're like, it's one of those days where you're just able to produce more speed from your power, and your running effectiveness is a little bit higher than expected. So that's why I say bracket several of them, and that will help your assistance. But again, let's look. Your Riegel exponent is going to modify the power, but not by a great deal. The spread increases a little bit, but it's still not a big. If I told you, hey, your half marathon target is 284 to 287, start off at 284 for the first 10 to 15K, and then if you're feeling great, ramp it up to 287. That's a pretty reasonable race power plan, all right? But again, to demonstrate the effect of the Riegel exponent is more dramatic. Now, if we want to look at the effect of running effectiveness, let's look at 3 identical Riegel exponents. And you can see it's only a 1 watt spread. Or let's go to this particular Riegel exponent. Same 3 different running effectiveness. Again, the spread is, there's no effect, virtually no effect. But look at the effect on time. The power is, the estimated power that you could sustain is about the same. Running effectiveness didn't influence that. However, the spread in time is about 2 minutes, roughly a little over 2 minutes. All right. Last example, we're going to go up to the marathon. So as I mentioned earlier, as we increase the distance, the effect of a Riegel exponent in terms of the spread is going to be greater. That's why I'm suggesting don't bracket 3 Riegel exponents, bracket only 2. So look at the spreads now. We go for this particular set, right? If we go for this particular set of Riegel exponents, we can see the spread here now is 8 watts. That's getting quite a bit bigger. However, if you only did 2, let's say you figured your marathon, again going here, we figure the best 2 is minus 0.08, minus 0.09, then we only have a 4 watt spread. And we're back to that scenario of, okay, hold 265 for the first 30K. And then if you're feeling great, you could ramp up as much as to 269 for the remainder if you're feeling that great. So the Riegel exponent here, that's a 8 watt spread. Here, 8 watt spread for this set. And for this set, 8 watt spread. All right. So then let's look at the effect of running effectiveness. They're all the same. All right. In fact, if you look at each of these others, they're all the same. So the running effectiveness did not have that dramatic effect, virtually no effect on your target power. And as a generalization, running effectiveness has a very small impact on your target power. Riegel exponent, more dramatic. So that's why it's important to pick the right ones to bracket. Running effectiveness, again, has a important bearing on what the possible outcome time will be. And once again, for that set of Riegel exponents and running effectiveness, sorry about that, we can see the times here, the spread is, that's about 5 minutes, a little under 5 minute spread based on what the running effectiveness is. So, summary, when doing race power selection, bracket, try to find the best Riegel exponent set for you to bracket. Running effectiveness, you can put in several contingencies if if you run the course, for example, if you run London Marathon last year and you're going to do it again this year, your running effectiveness is probably going to be very similar. If you really improve, then you might be, 1/100th higher. So you'll bracket only 2 of them in that case. As you're doing this bracketing and you're worried about, hey, it's really going to affect the outcome of my Riegel exponent selection. Yes, it will affect the outcome of your average power. But hopefully, it'll give you a very tight range if you're selecting the right Riegel exponent pair to use. Running effectiveness, going to have less. It's going to have a very small effect on your target power. It may have an effect, but that effect will be small. The main effect of the running effectiveness in this whole workup here, this whole race power planning scenario, is to give you an idea of time, and running effectiveness does have a significant effect on outcome time. So there you go. There's some hypotheticals for you, help you to understand this process. And thank you for listening and watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.